Leprechaun.
It's out. It's out of the crate.
This week we're talking about the film Leprechaun from 1993. Leprechaun stars Warwick Davis. He's a veteran of both the Star Wars series and Harry Potter. But to me, he will always be the Leprechaun.
The Leprechaun, sure.
That's what I knew him as.
What about Willow?
I never saw Willow.
Oh,
I still haven't seen
He's the titular
Willow.
character, as well as
He
in
is.
this one, you know?
That was really his big
That was his thing.
movie.
But
It seems like quite a downfall to go from being in Willow to being in Leprechaun.
Yeah.
I think that the sad reality is like it's kind of a one-in-a-lifetime chance to have a role like that.
Sure.
And after that, I don't think he had too
Unless they're
many
gonna
options.
make a Willow 2, you know?
No, I think Warwick Davis was basically like doing TV movies and stuff for a few years.
Sure. Being a little person, you can't stock shelves easy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, I think my point is, I think 20%.
What else is he gonna do? Yeah.
20% of little people live in LA, and big majority of them work in entertainment industry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's an interesting thing to like cash in on your small-ism to you know.
It's literally like, yeah, midgets, show business. That's
why
like
not?
your option. Yeah.
So what's Warwick's issue? What he wasn't-
Warwick Davis was born with a rare bone growth disorder that gave him dwarfism.
Okay.
Warwick Davis has a pretty interesting career.
He's still living, right?
He's still alive as far as I know.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times there are health complications that come
lot
with
of
having
times,
a smaller
yeah.
body, you know.
Kind of like big tall people, big
Right.
little people usually don't live that long either. When Davis was 11, his grandmother heard a radio advertisement calling for people who were 4 feet tall or shorter to be in the film Return of the Jedi. And to Davis, who was a fan of Star Wars, this was like a dream come true.
Sure.
And he was cast as a extra Ewok, and then got bumped up to be the character Wicket when the actor Kenny Baker got ill.
That's
And
cool.
It only gets better from there because then George Lucas picked Davis to be in the film Willow.
Right.
They wrote the role for him.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
well, that's
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good adventure movie, you know. It's like classic.
never seen Willow,
Classic '80s. You got Val Kilmer.
But as far as like small actors go, I think Davis has probably had the best career
Oh man, I mean,
possible, aside from Peter Dinklage,
Dinklage.
like
I mean, who else you know?
almost transcends being a midget at this point.
There's Wee Man, and then
Vern hasn't had an acting
Vern
career.
Troyer, who
Vern
did,
Troyer didn't have a good acting career.
well, you know, they were pop culture personas for a bit
Sure.
though. You knew of them, right?
The director of Leprechaun is Mark Jones. Mark Jones had previously been a television writer. I believe the biggest things he worked on were The A-Team and Alf.
Those
He
are
wrote
pop
for a
films.
lot of like Saturday morning cartoon shows in the 80s, like Mr. T and Scooby-Doo. and
Mr.
stuff
T
like that.
cartoon show.
Yeah, the Mr. T cartoon.
Okay.
And he also wrote for The A-Team, so it's probably a natural transition. into
Right,
that.
right. He's like, I write for Mr. T all the time.
It's already connected
I'll write
there,
cartoon.
yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
But
But you can kind of
cartoons, huh?
Well, you
I mean,
can
that
kind of
checks
tell
out.
when you watch Leprechaun
Right.
where his sensibilities are. I'd always kind of thought of Leprechaun in the tradition of holiday-themed horror films.
Mm-hmm.
In hindsight, it doesn't really have anything to do with St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
There are similarities to Friday the 13th, for sure.
In
But
that
The ending is
keeps coming
basically the
back.
Friday the 13th ending. It's a lot of the tropes and
It's
stuff.
like, oh,
It's
he's
also-
not
it's-
dead. He's gonna come back for the sequel, sort of deal.
Same tone, too,
Okay.
as the original, at least.
The Friday the 13th was kind of as tongue-in-cheek as this movie.
Pretty goofy, the original, yeah.
Is that right?
It's kind of like Scooby-Doo.
This
feel
felt
to it.
This felt very Scooby-Doo at times.
Yeah, yeah. Jones was further influenced by the film Critters, which featured a small monster. To me, this character feels more like it's
aliens.
similar to like Chucky or like
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger. I don't really.
Little tiny guy coming after you. He's got magic powers.
That's what the Leprechaun feels like to me. It's like the character from Child's Play, or kind of like Freddy Krueger in the later installments of Nightmare on Elm Street, when they got kind of goofy.
Right. He's a little more playful.
But-
He's gonna turn you into a pizza.
Yeah, but this series didn't start off serious. It was just kind of goofy from the beginning. Jones brought the concept for Leprechaun to Trimark, who at the time were looking to get into film production in addition to distribution, and Leprechaun became the first film produced in-house by Trimark to be theatrically released. Leading up to the film's release, Trimark engaged in an aggressive marketing campaign. They partnered with the NBA and the American Stock Exchange, where they had the Leprechaun character ring the opening bell.
For the NBA.
Yeah. No, for the stock exchange, dumbass. And after failing to secure deals with either corporate headquarters, the film's producers partnered with individual franchises of Domino's and Subway. That's kind of wild. You know, like Domino's corporate headquarters said no to Leprechaun.
Oh.
They didn't want to promote an R-rated like horror movie. And so the producers went directly to like franchise owners in LA and made a deal with them to hand out coupons that would get you free popcorn at participating theaters.
That's crazy town.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with that now.
No,
things have been too corporatized.
I mean, what about pizza makes you think, man, Leprechaun? Like, what the hell? His face looks like pizza?
No, it's just about getting your thing out.
ridiculous.
But Domino's would never partner with something that's going to upset
trouble
people.
if your franchise building like took bribes to put Leprechaun.
Well, it's not even that they've taken bribes, but you can't promote something outside of the corporate structure. I don't
They
think
must have got something out of it, though. They wouldn't have done it any other way. There would have been some sort of bonus to like allow.
Well, you get the promotional material that brings people for the free coupon.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, because they're like, oh, I go to Pizza Hut and I get Domino's and I get to see Leprechaun.
Yeah,
for free. Cool. Yeah, that's a good idea.
No, you don't get to see Leprechaun for free.
Well, I thought you got the tickets. I'm confused. Why the fuck would you ever go to
Russ,
Domino's?
I just told you, you get free popcorn.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you go see Leprechaun after you go to Domino's.
If you don't charge people to go see the movie, it's not going to make any money.
Right.
Yeah.
So, wait. You go to Domino's, you get a pizza.
Yeah.
They give you a coupon to
They
get
give you a
free
promotional
popcorn.
coupon for free popcorn.
Okay.
Yeah. At participating theaters, I'm sure.
I'm sure, yeah.
Leprechaun opened on January 8th, 1993 in 620 theaters, and it took in almost $2.5 million its opening weekend.
January 8th. It came out first week of 93, huh?
Yeah.
Like shortly after Christmas. Interesting.
Nowhere near St. Patrick's Day. And it ultimately earned $8.5 million theatrically in the United States. Vidmark released the film on VHS in April 1993, and it sold over 100,000 copies.
Wait, you said it made 2.5 milli its opening week, and then 8.5 theatrically after?
Yeah.
The movie cost $1 million to make.
Yeah, it was
so
a
they
success.
made their money back.
Yeah.
10 times over. That's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
No wonder they made so many damn sequels.
Yeah, right. So, of course, after that success, it led to a slew of sequels. Sure. Leprechaun was followed by 5 sequels. Leprechaun 2 in 1994, Leprechaun 3 in 1995, Leprechaun 4 in 1997. That was Leprechaun in Space. And then after that, Leprechaun in the Hood 2000 and Leprechaun Back to the Hood 2003.
Back to the Hood. THA.
Yeah. That is key.
It's not any less letters. You're just replacing the E with an A.
Yeah. It is very dumb. It's kind of hilarious that the Leprechaun series went to space before the Hood. It's like
Sure.
White people were so scared of black people in the 90s that they'd rather go to space than Harlem.
Yeah.
But that might be harsh because, he did go to the Hood a second time.
Right, he comes back to the Hood.
Yeah, so he must have enjoyed it.
Do you think so do you think why would they bring him to the Hood? Do you think it was a popular movie with
It's just like a new novelty.
black
It's like
audiences though? Like they had advertised it at the NBA sort of thing, like you were saying.
I think black audiences probably do like the Leprechaun, but also it's just kind of like a novelty. They needed another novelty, right? They already did Vegas, they did Space, and that was kind of a novelty in the 90s. Was like do a Hood themed movie.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's always been a theme.
Also, he rhymes, so I guess that was like
the
big touchstone there.
Does he hip hop rap?
I guarantee you, without having any memory of it, I guarantee you there are scenes in Leprechaun in the Hood or Leprechaun Back to the Hood where he raps at some point.
I come from the land of the Irish Spring. Dublin's the place where I learned my thing.
The director of Leprechaun, Mark Jones, is ultimately most well known for this film. He also directed a similar film in 1995 called Rumplestiltskin, which is a horror version of Rumplestiltskin.
Right, where he steals a baby and he spins gold into...
Yeah, that's it.
Interesting. Is it like a fairy tale remake, or is it like it's a modern day take on it?
Russ, I don't know because I've never watched Rumplestiltskin. It's a very funny name.
Rumplestiltskin. You know my name.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Unfortunately, Rumpelstiltskin didn't repeat the success of Leprechaun, so we never got to see that series develop and
Bummer, we didn't get
eventually go to
sequels.
space or, an impoverished neighborhood. Production-wise, Leprechaun is competent. It's a $1 million budget, so it's a small film, but it's still relatively professional. The acting is decent overall. The concept is strong. The plot, unfortunately, relies on a lot of tropes and cliches, so there's not much here beyond the surface. That being said, if you're going into this looking for like a goofy, low-budget horror comedy, I don't think you'll be disappointed. So I'm going to give this one 3 stars. I'll recommend Leprechaun 1993. I say go watch it.
I'm gonna do the same. I think 3 stars is it's as solid as any Disney Channel original film. And so, but it almost feels like a kids movie.
Yeah.
That had like gore elements added to it. I mean,
which I think is basically what happened in the production. They added gore later.
I think I read it was supposed to be like they were trying to make it PG-13 maybe, and then they like did some reshoots with like more effects or whatever. But like, there's a kid is like one of the main characters, so it's not gonna not be like a kids movie.
A kid and a child and a man-child.
And a man-child, yeah,
So
exactly.
You think there's a lot for the younger audiences to relate to in this film. Unfortunately, they ended up going for the older audience. So Leprechaun isn't streaming anywhere for free right now. It was on Tubi, but it came off right at the beginning of March. I really hate how they do that with seasonal movies.
Yeah.
They do that with a lot of Christmas films. They'll be like free all year. And then come November, December, when you want to watch Elf, it's fucking $5.99.
Yep.
You can get Leprechaun on Amazon, Apple. I think you can rent it on YouTube. There's DVDs, there's Blu-rays of all the films, I believe.
Deedly-dee, not free for me.
Yeah. But honestly, I think this is one that most of our audience has probably already seen.
Probably sure.
So I think people have probably already watched this, and we can get right into it. Leprechaun opens with a scene of the title character played by Warwick Davis. He's sitting with his pot of gold, seemingly backlit by a rainbow, and he gives one of his evil leprechaun rhymes. I guess this might be like a limerick.
Tweedly-dee, I love gold in my pants, or whatever. Yeah. Put it in my foreskin, and pinch the tip.
Yeah. That would be great if he had to kind of walk around with all his heavy gold tucked into his foreskin.
Really stretching it
That's
out.
That's why he walks so funny. Yeah. It's not because of a birth defect from being a midget. It's all because he's got a penis filled with gold.
Hey, living the dream, buddy.
Which also might explain why he has that weird, like, green skin thing going on. Because doesn't gold make your skin all green and weird?
Oh, is that right?
Some people have a weird reaction to gold.
I've
they
heard
get
that,
like
actually.
green marks from gold.
Is it impure gold? Is that what it is?
I don't know if it's because the gold is cheap or some people just have a reaction to gold.
Interesting.
So after the little intro with the leprechaun, the film cuts to an old Irish gentleman getting out of a limousine and finishing a bottle of Jameson.
Dude, he chugs the rest of that.
Yeah.
It's probably like a good couple
This
of shots.
movie does not provide a very flattering portrayal of the Irish. Sure. They're all drunk. They're all short. They're all
stereotypes, right?
Yeah. So the character is Daniel O'Grady. He has returned home from North Dakota, or he has returned home to North Dakota from a trip to his native Ireland. And he's celebrating because while in Ireland, O'Grady captured a leprechaun and was able to acquire his pot of gold. And this actor, he looks and sounds Irish, and he actually has a gin blossom. So they got a real alcoholic to play the part.
There you go.
Not a great actor, but he does feel pretty authentic. You know? And right away, O'Grady's wife starts reprimanding him for taking a limousine. And,
what are you doing spending all that money?
Yeah, and he assures her that they're now rich, and he tells her that the limousine is only the beginning, and they'll be buying a mansion soon. And, he shows his wife the gold, and what he doesn't tell his wife is that he has the actual leprechaun in his luggage. Which seems like flagrant disregard for customs and immigration. I mean, you're not even supposed to bring like unpasteurized food over. I don't think you could bring a handicapped midget
stuffed in your bag just so you can not pay for his seat.
Yeah. Before 9/11, airport security was just kind of a joke. You could sneak an Ewok-sized man in your luggage or do whatever you wanted.
Smoke a pack of cigarettes on the plane if you want to.
Bring $50,000 of stolen gold with you.
Right. Did that not go through like a scan or something? They didn't see like, hey, this urn is full of gold.
No, Russ, like we said before, he's Irish. He tucked all the gold into his foreskin and was able to sneak it into the country the same way Colin Farrell and all the other Irish immigrants come in with their gold.
Okay, sure.
So the leprechaun, seeing the opportunity in the situation with O'Grady's wife, mimics a child's voice and tricks the old Irish woman into letting him out of the suitcase. And once he's out, he either scares her or pushes her down the stairs to her death.
Right.
Either way, he kills this old Irish woman.
And it's a pretty good stunt. It's a pretty good fall down the stairs. She like really falls backwards down these stairs. But yeah, he kills an old woman straight out the gate.
He does murder an old woman. And then O'Grady shoots the leprechaun and uses a 4-leaf clover to imprison him in a wooden crate. Cut to 10 years later, J.D. Redding and his teenage daughter Tori show up. They have rented the former O'Grady's farmhouse for the summer.
From who?
Yeah, right? I guess somebody else.
Someone else rented in this house, but not upkeeping it at all, clearly.
Yeah. Not taking the leprechaun out of it, but renting it.
yeah. Right. Not going through to check anything, just renting the place.
And the daughter is played by Jennifer Aniston, and this is her feature film debut. Aniston shot this film just a year or two before she would be cast on NBC's Friends, which made her the highest paid actress in the world.
Okay, and I'm going to turn around, and I'm walking out of this basement, and I'm going back up to the Jeep, and I'm making a reservation at the nearest hotel in town.
I like to call her Jennifer Aniston because she was the impetus for lots of soiled laundry in my house during my adolescent years.
Nice. You watch Friends and jerk off?
Yes, I would jerk off to Jennifer Aniston.
Okay. I get it.
I don't think I ever really jerked off to Jennifer Aniston, but she was pretty hot.
Yeah, she's never really been in a role where it's like, oh, I can jerk off to her here. She's pretty. She's very beautiful.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that. I don't
can't
know.
Pause it on VHS.
I know she's been topless in movies. I'm pretty sure she's done some skin scenes.
Okay.
Not in Leprechaun, though. This movie's pretty wholesome.
Right.
There's no topless scene with Jennifer Aniston or really much skin at all. Another thing about the film Leprechaun is you're going to have to assume that the producers just neglected to shoot promotional stills of Aniston. Because the key art currently used for the film is like a cheap computer-generated image of her.
Is it?
So I guess they just didn't realize that like she would become the biggest celebrity in the world, and they'd probably make her the main marketing push moving forward for the film. The Jennifer Aniston character, Tori, has a crush on Nathan, the contractor hired to paint the old O'Grady house. And this Nathan guy has some questionable business practices. He's currently responsible for the employment of both a child and a mentally handicapped man. And I'm pretty sure that would be against at least one labor law, even in like 1993 North Dakota.
Yeah, I don't know. North Dakota, though. Gary.
Yeah, you think so? It's
a different place.
Yeah, it was like the Wild West back then.
Yeah, exactly.
The child and the disabled man on the job site seems dangerous enough, but then Nathan just like negligently goes inside the house and he's sniffing around Jennifer Aniston's panty drawer. And he leaves Alex and Ozzy, the mentally disabled man, alone, which leads to Ozzy falling off a ladder and ending up covered in blue paint.
Right.
Pretty goofy stuff.
Because the kid wasn't holding the ladder. He's busy like trying to get beers or something.
I guess so.
There was something weird.
Either way, I'm not surprised that the guy who wrote this used to write for like Yogi Bear cartoons. Ozzy is played by Mark Holton, the same actor that played Francis in Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Chubby in the Teen Wolf film series.
Okay, I wondered why I recognized that guy.
Well, here's the one that really comes out of nowhere, right? He played John Wayne Gacy in the film Gacy.
What lies within the man? Want to get high? Inside the rage.
Maybe you've seen this boy?
That's a pretty interesting casting choice.
That's a good casting choice.
And, Ozzy is wearing overalls. I'm not sure if that's because he's a painter or because he's mentally challenged.
Simpletons wear overalls, Gary.
That's the trope.
It's the 90s.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a bowl cut.
But he does have messy hair.
He does have messy hair.
I guess if you're mentally challenged and a painter, the likelihood of overalls is extremely high.
Yeah.
It's like that's a Venn diagram that also almost becomes a circle.
Exactly.
What's the idea behind that? Just that like a retarded person can't do a belt?
It's easier. Yeah, it's easier to do straps.
Yeah.
You don't have to get close to their privates to help them out with the belt.
It seems like somewhere along the line, the trope for hillbillies and retards just kind of became the same thing. It's like,
But again, also a Venn diagram that are kind of a circle,
Yeah.
Actually, no. Hillbillies are able to do some weird stuff.
Well, they wear overalls because they farm.
Right.
That's the excuse.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's a joke on farmers.
No, I think the trope is that if you're stupid, then you're limited to like farm work and you're wearing overalls and they kind of and of mice and men for sure.
Right.
He's wearing fucking overalls.
If you're a simpleton, you're probably going to do a job that's easier, like farming. Not to say farming's easy. I bet farming's fucking hard as shit. And
but you don't have the skills to work in a factory, I guess.
Right. You're going to get your arm ripped off in the big gear machines.
Yeah.
Or but Painting, yeah.
It's
I worked as a painter, Gary, for a little bit.
Did you wear overalls?
Oh yeah,
But you're also
had a bowl
retard.
cut and everything. Yeah.
It's it's an interesting '90s trope. I don't know why 1990s Hollywood decided that overalls were the uniform for the mentally deficient.
That just became it.
But they pretty much plugged it in everywhere. So Ozzy goes into the house to clean himself off, and this brings us to the inciting incident of Leprechaun, when Ozzy hears the Leprechaun once again mimicking a child's cries for help, and he accidentally brushes the four-leaf clover off of the Leprechaun's crate, freeing the little monster. This little guy, he's very good at imitating small children. He should have really been employed as a decoy on To Catch a Predator. It would have been pretty great to watch Warwick Davis confront pedophiles.
Well, with a little rhyme, though.
Yeah. What are you doing here, lad?
Yeah.
You said in the chat you want to lick my shillelagh.
Fiddly dee.
Russ, give me a pedophile rhyme. Quick, go. I'll walk a mile to catch a pedophile.
Yeah,
Something like that.
that's good. Excuse me there, lad. Fucking a child is bad.
It's a pretty funny inciting incident. This monster's been imprisoned for 10 years because of this four-leaf clover, and in comes this big goof in overalls and just brushes it off haphazardly. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been funny if once the Leprechaun comes out, Ozzy gets really excited and he tries to give him a hug and accidentally crushes his lungs.
His little spine.
Yeah.
They gotta.
He pets the little guy too hard and breaks his neck. It's like a Of Mice and Men situation.
Just keeps petting him for the rest of the movie. His little broken body.
So the Leprechaun tells Ozzy that he works as a shoemaker in Ireland, but has come to America looking for his gold. And after failing to convince the others that he met a leprechaun, Ozzy spots a rainbow and chases after it, believing that he'll find the leprechaun's gold at the end. Mm-hmm. And Alex accompanies him.
I don't know. Would you go after a leprechaun pops out of a box, looks fucking gross, and is like, I'm gonna eat your ear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn it into a shoe.
And also, it seems like they obviously tacked on that intro because, why is the gold now magically appearing places? None of this.
Yeah,
is
wait. Why would that
explained.
magically disappear?
The gold should just be at the house or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh, no, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
I bet you this movie probably just started with the Leprechaun in North Dakota, and they tacked that on, which is weird. That also seems kind of weird.
Huh.
But either way, the two, they chase the rainbow, and they do find the gold. They find the bag of 100 gold coins. And Ozzy tests one of the gold coins by biting it, which is also an old, 1920s, a depression thing, to make sure you're not getting a fucking fake coin.
I mean, gold is soft.
I don't think anybody in 2023 understands the concept of
biting
testing a coin with your teeth.
With your teeth?
Yeah. So Ozzy and Alex stash the gold in an old well, and they plan to keep the gold for themselves so they can get Ozzy in operation to make him more smart.
Yeah.
They're
going to fix his brain with an operation, Gary.
Yeah, kind of like a Wizard of Oz type thing.
Forget about the gold coin in his gut. We're going to fix his brain with an operation, and it's going to be... Yeah, Wizard of Oz, very much so, right? It's finally got a brain.
And, the title character in Leprechaun seems to have a bit of a foot fetish, or at least an obsessive compulsion with footwear.
Oh, yeah, he's a cobbler.
Yeah, he's a cobbler, and after he gets out of the crate, he's just creeping around under Nathan's pickup truck, and he sees Tori's legs, and he tries to caress it, but ends up scratching her ankle.
Yeah, he rubs her for a little bit, and she's like, new
He
boy.
sees Jennifer Aniston's tootsies, and he gets all horned up. And this compulsion towards feet, be it sexual or whatever, this is the leprechaun's weakness aside from the four-leaf clover.
Right. So now he's got multiple weaknesses.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
He's got an emotional weakness towards shoes, but he's got a physical weakness towards...
This leprechaun, he just loves shoes.
He really does, though. But, with that said, there is kind of this thing with shoes in the movie, obviously. But each character's shoes almost are a representation of the character themselves.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, what do they got? Tori's wearing
Why, because Ozzy has Velcro shoes?
Yeah. The older brother the love interest there, he's wearing some you know what? I forget what he's wearing. I forget how to describe
that guy
it.
just kind of reminded me of a B-list Kevin Bacon. It just looks like when they put out a casting call for like a Kevin Bacon type,
he answered and they're like,
sure.
sure.
Yeah.
You're handsome. Get on the stage. Cut off those sleeves, sir.
He also looks like he's about as old as Jennifer Aniston's dad.
Right.
If I was Jennifer Aniston's father and this 47-year-old painter was hitting on my 17-year-old daughter, I don't think I'd be too happy.
Walking around your house covered in cobwebs, sniffing her panties. Yeah. No good.
After Tori gets her ankle scratched, her father, JD, hears what he thinks is a cat, attempts to reach for it in a tree trunk where he then is bit by the leprechaun.
Oh, he gives him a gnarly bite.
Yeah, he bites the shit out of him.
Really chocks him.
So far, isn't a terrible setup. The gang then takes JD to the hospital, and the leprechaun follows them on a tricycle that he steals.
Why do they have a tricycle?
I guess it's just like in the barn. It's like an old tricycle.
You're telling me the O'Grady's? Did
they not seem like a couple that had children?
Oh, maybe they did at one point.
Once they go to the hospital, Alex and Ozzy sneak away from the group, and they go to like a little coin shop, and they bring the gold coins. And the man there tells them they may be worth $500 or they may be priceless, which would mean that they're worthless. But even if they are worth $500, that would be a pretty big hole in the premise because $50,000 is a lot of money, but it's not really like transformative wealth.
Yeah,
like you might be able to buy a house, but you're not going to get like a mansion.
No, you're not getting a mansion.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a North Dakota mansion.
Yeah, maybe.
Like a dilapidated thing. You got a fixer-up mansion.
That seems like a pretty big plot hole. Would you kill a midget for $50,000, Russ?
I have, for less.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, for just looking at me wrong.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, you're right. You're right. Who's trying to do anything with $50,000? The kid and the dummy?
That's what the leprechaun has. He's 100 gold coins.
Right.
They're worth $500 each. So you could do the math on that pretty easily.
Oh, O'Grady. Yeah, you're right. He was way off.
Yeah.
What's he going to do with... Maybe he just assumed the gold
He's just such a fucking idiot. He's like, I got $50,000. I'll be set for the rest of my life.
Yeah, forget it. Buy a limo.
That's like a 1 year salary, maybe.
Right.
The leprechaun shows up to the little coin shop and he kills the man in the store with a pogo stick. He pogos on his vitals.
Yep.
Pretty hilarious scene.
This old lep, he played one. He played pogo on his life.
And this is a good example of what this film does right. Just enough gore to make the leprechaun worth the cost of admission, and leaning into the absurd humor of the whole scenario. It's like if you don't, it's going to be pretty stupid.
I mean, how else is the leprechaun supposed to kill you? You're laying on the ground. He's going to stomp on you with...
Pogoing on someone's lungs is pretty funny.
That said, Warwick Davis is like, what, 55 pounds a person?
I don't know. Maybe something like that. He's got to be pretty small.
Even still, I guess a metal plunger to the sternum is going to do damage.
Yeah, it's basically like stabbing somebody.
You ever pogoed?
No, I've tried to pogo, but I've never had the skill to really do it.
It's a good time, but it is tricky and it's a workout. This little guy, he's tricycling around.
Yeah.
He's pogoing around. He's fit. For being stuck in a box for 10 years, his muscles have not atrophied.
Yeah, that's probably the most unbelievable thing in this movie is that Warwick Davis can pogo stick.
Pogo.
Dude can barely fucking walk. So then at that point, the leprechaun steals a little tiny car from the antique shop, which is pretty adorable. Warwick Davis speeding around in his little Power Wheels car. It's pretty funny stuff. And this leads to a scene where the leprechaun blasts through a speed trap and gets pulled over by a badly dubbed police officer.
Say, aren't we a little young to be out this late?
Imagine being such a shitty actor that you have to be dubbed out of Leprechaun. Must have been quite a bummer when you finally saw that scene.
You're like, hey, that's not my word. Maybe they just didn't have, they shot it like without audio.
They could have done that. Also, they're going to do a gag where the leprechaun does his voice. So I don't know if that was part
so
of
maybe
it.
they just got a voice actor after the
But
fact.
I assume if it's not an audio fuck up, that dude's acting was probably just dog shit.
He just delivered the line so flat.
Yeah. And there's a long scene of the leprechaun stalking the cop in the woods. It's all relatively entertaining.
I hear this was a reshoot. They were like, well, we need more action. We need more like violence or something.
Another horror scene.
We need 5 more minutes of screen time for whatever reason.
After leaving Tori's father at the hospital, the gang drives back to the farmhouse, and they find the house has been searched and all the shoes have been polished. Again, the leprechaun has an obsession with footwear, so their shoes have all been freshly polished, and there was no shoe polish in the house, so we'll have to assume the little guy just used his own natural lubricants to coat the leather and give it a nice shine. Leprechaun semen, or as the title character likes to refer to it as, a shamrock shake. And,
My little shamrock shake will shine these boots up perfectly. Cock shake.
yeah. So
That was the McDonald's drink for a little bit.
That's the mint milkshake they do in March. Are you a fan of the Shamrock Shake?
I don't know. That sounds gross.
Let me tell you
Mint?
something.
Yeah.
If minty vanilla milkshake came out of a leprechaun's penis, I would have no problem blowing a leprechaun.
Oh, actually,
Shamrock shakes are fucking
that
delicious.
sounds alright. Actually,
Yeah,
when you put it that way, Gary, I'll suck a little person's dick.
Nathan goes outside of the house to look around, and he ends up being injured by a bear trap set by the leprechaun. And just as the trap springs, the leprechaun runs out and starts laughing at him. And he threatens to amputate his leg. It's pretty funny.
What a jerk.
Yeah.
What a little douchebag.
Whoa, I got you in a bear trap.
The leprechaun is mischievous.
Right.
He'll maim you and he'll giggle about it. So the rest of the gang comes to Nathan's rescue, and Alex is able to retrieve a shotgun from the house, which allows Nathan to shoot the leprechaun, which is pretty cool actually, because they have a little green squib.
They blast his little body backwards into
Yeah.
a bush or whatever. Yeah.
It's pretty well done.
Yeah, I don't know if they had a wire stunt for that, but it looked pretty good. And actually, I heard that, or I read that Davis did all his own stunts for this movie.
I heard that he did a lot of his stunts, but there's also some shots where it looks like you could see it's obviously a taller.
He got a lung disease or a lung issue, health issues
And they
at
had to
some
use a
point,
double.
and they had to for a couple of scenes.
So when the shotgun doesn't work to kill the leprechaun, the group attempts to flee the farm, but their truck's engine has been sabotaged by the leprechaun.
Classic. He's in the engine.
Yeah, he's in there. And then, he suddenly comes out with a seemingly modified go-kart,
Sweet.
which it looks like he built himself a little Death Race 2000 car. And then he rams the truck and it just flips over, which is pretty funny.
This guy, he's got so many vehicles. First,
It gets very redundant with all the following on weird little vehicles.
Yeah,
It's can't they think of something else?
Well, you're going one place to another. Leprechaun's got to get there. He's going to ride a tricycle.
Or
He's
the
gonna ride a
director just
go-kart.
thought it was hilarious to see this midget sped up.
Yeah, just
Look at this little guy go. He can't move that quick.
so put some wheels on him and zoom around.
Yeah. They do that a lot in this movie. And then the leprechaun continues to terrorize the group, and Ozzy reveals to Tori and everyone that him and Alex found the pot of gold. And then Tori attempts to kind of solve the situation by recovering the bag from the well and giving it to the leprechaun. But while he's counting it, he discovers that there's a missing coin, the coin that Ozzy swallowed. So, this Tori character was really upset about having to clean this old house. Wait until she has to, get wrist deep in some handicapped man poop looking for this coin. Mm-hmm.
Hey, dude, you got to do what you got to do.
I wonder how long it would take him to pass a full gold coin.
Dude, it can't take that long to... Probably within the day, he'll take a shit.
Or the next day, I guess, right?
Well, yeah, man. In fact, if you're worried about it, just go get the guy a laxative right now. Get him done in the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
Before the leprechaun reaches his little hand up his butt.
All right. I mean, that's fine. if that's the way he gets it, too, as long as it doesn't kill him, right?
Yeah.
We talked about being inside the house?
No, let me piss and we could talk about that.
Sure.
So you're saying you like the scene in the house?
Yeah. So he's terrorizing him, right? Mm-hmm. And this sequence actually is pretty long.
Yeah, and also I think they originally had permission to use the Lucky Charms cereal box.
Is that right?
And then when they actually showed the movie to Lucky Charms, they rescinded that, so they had to reshoot that with a different
With some
cereal
sort of
box.
different box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Warwick's just I don't know if they just had him in makeup, I don't know, walk around the house and do some stuff. And so he just fiddles around the house. He eats cereal. He hates it. He's
searching
makes
for the
a
gold in the
sandwich.
house.
Oh, okay, sure.
Russ, did you not
I
get
guess
that?
I didn't watch the movie. Yeah.
It's almost impressive the way you misinterpret movies. It's like you're working hard at it. It's so obvious. It's great, dude.
Yeah,
You have a unique perspective, Russ.
I'm glad you think so.
And the group is able to kind of distract the leprechaun by throwing dirty shoes at him,
Yeah.
which he just can't resist but to go and shine them and sniff them and, lick them and maybe, manipulate himself a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, he's grunting the whole time. He's really got to clean these shoes. It's so funny that's what distracts him.
He's a little Quentin Tarantino. He's just running around.
buffing the shoes
Yeah,
out.
he loves it.
He really does.
Something happened to this leprechaun in his development. Something about crawling around on the floor and looking at mommy's feet. Some wire got crossed.
Something
And
there, yeah, sure.
if he's gonna come, it's gonna involve a heel or
It's gotta.
a toe or something.
It has to.
So Tori gets to the Jeep and she drives off, and her plan is to go and find the old Mr. O'Grady and hopefully figure out how to kill the leprechaun.
Right.
And this next setup might be one of the better setups in the film.
You're talking about the leprechaun on roller skates? Coming down the street after her?
Oh, no, not that. I'm talking about the scene at the old person's home.
Oh, okay. Because she drives off in the Jeep and then
Chase after her
right
on
behind
roller
her,
skates?
got roller skates.
Yeah.
These were his roller skates. This is Warwick Davis roller skates.
Yeah, I
He has
bet.
his personal roller skates.
Probably had to be custom made for his weird little
For his
feet.
tiny little feet.
Yeah.
He smashes through a fence in a shape that's in the shape of his body. Cartoon again.
Yeah, it gets really redundant, all the chasing around on stuff. I wish they could have thought of something a little bit more creative than that. Tori goes to the old person's home, and like I said, I think this is one of the better setups in the movie, where she approaches O'Grady from the back before realizing it's the leprechaun mimicking his voice.
Uh-oh.
And then the leprechaun chases Tori to an elevator where she finds O'Grady's body hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, she gets in the elevator and he smashes through.
I never was able to interpret this correctly, I guess, because I always assumed that she just ran into the elevator and she found him dead. But I guess what's supposed to be happening here is that she gets in the elevator and the leprechaun throws his body down the shaft.
Yeah.
And it crashes through the ceiling, which doesn't really come across on screen.
No, because
too well.
she literally just got in. It would be
Yeah.
like maybe one floor lower.
Also,
and
there was a
there's not enough
chase scene. So, like, how did the body get to where he could throw it to the elevator if he just chased her from O'Grady's? It doesn't really make any sense.
And also, the way he's chasing, again, he puts some wheels on. He gets in a wheelchair and he skirts around this place.
Before dying, O'Grady tells Tori that the only way she can kill the leprechaun is with a 4-leaf clover, which just so happens to grow in a big batch outside of the farm. It's pretty
How convenient.
pretty convenient. And the real question here is, why didn't Grady just kill the leprechaun in Ireland? I don't understand why he brought him back.
Do you
So
think?
just so he could hang out the house and jerk off on his shoes, and
Yeah, he'd wake up every morning with shiny
I
shoes.
just wanted to hang out with a little leprechaun.
Do you think he intended to, or do you think it was a
You
stowaway?
think the leprechaun followed him?
Yeah, it might have been a stowaway in his
That makes
suitcase.
sense.
Way
Yeah,
more
yeah.
sense than him bringing him, right? Why the fuck would
Yeah.
you do that, O'Grady? And you're just too drunk to realize that you had packed him up in your suitcase. I mean, he's a trickster, right?
I mean, honestly, you think the leprechaun would be way more valuable than the $50,000 in gold? That's a fucking
You sell that.
anomaly of science that no one's ever seen
Sell
before.
it to the circus?
Sell it
to the government?
circus, put it into sex work, whatever you could do to make some money off that little green guy.
Sure.
The carnival, whatever
Yeah.
they got in North Dakota, a bar.
Yeah,
You know?
he sings at the local
Come
bar.
see the leprechaun. You can kick it for $1. That'd be great. You can piss in its mouth for 10.
$10?
Yeah.
Worth it.
He loves golden showers.
Gold. He does. Careful, he'll bite your dick, though.
Ooh, yeah?
Probably.
Yeah, the way he bit that hand going into that hole, I would not want to, run into the leprechaun on the other end of a glory hole.
You've seen his teeth.
Yeah.
He does not take care of them. He's got
Yeah.
bad oral hygiene. So even if he did give a stellar blowjob, your dick's going to smell awful after.
Yeah, and I do not want a blowjob from the leprechaun.
To each their own, Gary. You know.
So the scene with Jennifer Aniston in the elevator with
Mm-hmm.
O'Grady is pretty bad. Jennifer Aniston's trying to work up tears, and the old Irish guy's deathbed performance leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
I almost regret giving the movie 3 stars after watching this scene.
This is the weakest thing. Also, it's like another 3 to 4 minutes. It feels like a really long time. How tall is this building? How long is this elevator ride? It's like
Yeah.
you'd be done even if it was like a 10-story building.
Huge,
way before
huge nursing home in rural North Dakota.
I guess so.
And all
Super
the
slow.
chasing back and forth in this movie gets really redundant. Like the first leprechaun's chasing them on a tricycle, and then the little car, and the go-kart, and then the fucking the rollerblades.
Yeah. And then the wheelchair.
Yeah, it gets very redundant. I don't know why they just have the leprechaun like magically appear places. I think that would have been plausible enough.
Yeah, but then it's like he could be anywhere.
Yeah, and watching that sped up footage of the midget, that was like peak entertainment for a baby boomer. That was,
Right. Here's a good. He's squirreling around, super sped up. Yeah.
Look how fast this little guy is going.
It's pretty ridiculous looking.
Once they figured out you could speed up footage of Warwick Davis, that like kind of killed the creativity.
The world's never been the same.
Leprechaun, yeah. So, I guess we're pretty much at the ending here, and Ozzy reveals that he swallowed the missing gold coin, and the Leprechaun bites him before, basically
Leprechaun.
trying to like kill him to get the coin, and he doesn't kill Ozzy because Alex ends up saving the day by taking a 4-leaf clover that Tori had found, and he sticks it to a wad of gum and shoots it into the Leprechaun's mouth.
Yeah.
And he gives a
Fuck
great
you,
line,
Lucky Charms.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms. Which
Great.
I have to assume the filmmakers worked into this movie after the Lucky Charms company made them pull the box out.
All right, well, fine. Fuck you, Lucky Charms, literally.
Yeah.
That's funny. Interesting.
And that's it.
He bites Ollie.
Ozzy.
Ozzy,
He bites
right.
him. Yeah, he bites his ears.
He's bit like 3 people.
He bites. Yeah.
He's a little biter. He's like a little chihuahua.
Yeah.
You get him. Don't let him get near you because he's gonna bite your ankle. He's gonna bite your thigh. He's gonna bite your ear like Mike Tyson. He's a biter.
He's very violent.
He's got claws, but
And then that's basically it. The 4-leaf clover makes a meltdown.
Gary, you ever seen a 4-leaf clover?
I've never seen a
You ever
4-leaf
found
clover.
a 4-leaf clover? No.
Are they like super rare? Is it a real thing?
They're super rare. My uncle can find them. He's found a couple of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that
Is your uncle a leprechaun?
he might be. He might be. Actually, I don't know that, but he gives a great head, and that's the important.
Yeah. So the leprechaun falls into the well, and then his skeleton climbs back out, and Nathan pushes the leprechaun back into the well.
Oh yeah, dude, he's got this. He's
blows
doing
it up
this,
with gas.
He's doing this great Gremlins meltdown. He's like,
It's like a Gremlins meltdown, and then kind of like a Friday the 13th little tacked on.
Sure.
Oh, he's back, and then
he's back, and then no.
but it doesn't freeze frame. It just kind of
Right.
they
Knock
kill
him back
him.
down.
And that's pretty much it. Overall, I think this movie is pretty decent for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I almost hate to give it 3 stars because I've given better films 3 stars, but it's satisfactory horror comedy.
I've given better and worse movies 3 stars, Gary.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a solid 3.
You could say what you want about this film. It's definitely not Jennifer Aniston's worst movie.
Yeah, she needs to be brought back for a reboot.
That's what the
reboot.
franchise really needs, is like a full-on big-budget version with Jennifer Aniston in it again.
Mm-hmm. And Warwick, they got to bring him back.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the fans, they're gonna want Warwick.